Okay, so here we are again, picking back up with this. What we need to do is we're going to change this button right here for the click me. We're going to change it, instead of being an anchor, we're going to change that to a div. And then we're going to come over here and change that A to a div. And save that. Now those styles are going to apply correctly. So we want the width to be, let's go with 150 pixels. Let's save all this. Oops. Save it. Refresh this. Okay, now we've got this button taking up the whole width. And the reason for that is, let's get rid of that. There we go. And let's put line height 44 pixels to match our size of the button. Text align to align it center rather than left. There we go. We just about got it right. It does look a little off-centered. Let's do something fun by doing this. Let's go dot button colon hover and then do curly brackets again. And what this is doing, this is going to allow us to change what it does when we hover on it with the mouse. So let's do something real drastic and do background color black. And let's see what happens. Whoa, see, now when I hover over it, changes to black. Well, we don't really want it to do that. We want it to do something less. Let's just go background. Let's just do opacity. Now let's do 0.5. So now it starts turning see-through. That's kind of cool. And then what we can also do is dot button click. No, not click. Active. We can adjust it to be something slightly different. So now we'll have three different things. Hover, click. I gotta refresh that. Hover, click. Hover, click. But I actually want to change the color to black. Now let's see what it looks like. Hover, click. Ooh, way too dark, way too dark. Let's try doing 0.4. See if that changes anything. The text disappears though. It's the same color as that. Well, we can solve that by stopping doing the opacity and doing the RGB background color, RGBA. And we'll go with 0, 0, 0, 8. Let's see what happens. Well, we don't want it to be like that. Let's try 0.2. That might work well for clicking. I want something slightly different. What if we just made it a gray, a different gray? So let's go back to Photoshop real quick. And remember that we got this as a D2. Let's just drag this down a little bit. Let's just do A's. So we'll just do pound AAA. See what that looks like. There it goes. It just darkens a little bit. And then click, we can make it do something like RGB. 4. Let's see how that looks. There you go. So that's a fun way to add interactivity. And one thing you could even do is position 1 pixel. No. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Position relative top 1 pixel. Now watch what happens. Now it moves a little bit. So actually let's do it from bottom. We'll do it 2 pixels. Now watch what happens. See, it moves those 2 pixels on hover. And we'll do this one. We'll have it move back down. So, up, down, up, down. Okay, so now we still need to get things situated, right? And we may have to add some HTML to do this correctly. Let's do button. Let's do margin auto. So that should center it. There it goes. Let's give it margin top, give it a little bit of space, 50 pixels. So it shows that down a little bit. Oh, and the link's gone. We'll have to put that link back in there. Ooh, you know what we could do? We could change the text to white, so color white. So now, there it goes. Sweet. Alright, so we need to get this centered, this block, but that's not in the same block, so we need to put that in the same block. See, those are 2 different things. So when you create a div, you need to call it class. Well, let's give it more space so that it's easier to see what we're doing. So we're creating another div within the bottom section to contain the 2 headers. And so we're going to call it div class equals, what should we call this? Text. Close it. And then we need to add the closing one below this paragraph. So boom. I'm going to indent these so that it's a little clearer. Let's separate that. So now we've got a div containing that text, and then we have a button below that. So now we can control that text div by doing dot text, curly brackets. We're going to go margin auto, oops, margin top, margin auto, and then we're going to give it a width, because otherwise it'll automatically be 100%. And let's go take a look at this. How wide did we have it? About 500 pixels wide. So let's go width 500 pixels. Let's just see what happens. Nothing. You know why? Because I haven't saved my index. There we go. There you go. So now I've got my button, I've got my text, and it's getting closer there. Okay, so let's go ahead and, okay, I'm going to take something from Wikipedia here. This is just for a school project, so therefore I don't have a problem. Oops, I don't really need to put it there. I need to put it here. There we go. So now we got some text going in there, and we need to edit that so it looks a little better. I want to give it some font line height, give it a little bit more spacing. Let's see how that looks. There it goes. Lets it breathe a little bit better. Notice how that shoved it down a little bit lower. So we're getting close. We're getting close. Let's see here. I think we might need to let's change this to a div rather than an anchor. And then let's put this text in a div and call it class equals heading. And that'll have those two headers in it. And then we will close this div. So that div starts and ends there. This one starts and ends there. So now we can go manipulate heading. So we're going to create something to grab the heading with. Curly brackets. And heading we need to be float left. That way it runs into the image. Well, floats up next to the image. Let's just see what happens when we do that. Oh, that's already getting closer. Now, because wombats are cool, is way down here. Why is that? Well, let's inspect it and see what it comes up with. That's because our wombat has looks like it's got a lot of padding or something. So let's go to our style and set our H1 to have margin 0. Let's see what happens. That's not what I want. Okay, I need to get that margin bottom. Set to something more reasonable. Let's just see what 0 pixels looks like. That looks a little better, but not quite like I want it. And I bet that's because this right here has a margin on it too, and this is my H2. So let's just do margin top 0, and let's see what happens. Yep, there it goes. So now those are closer together. It's need to scoot down from the top a little bit. So let's put the margin top at 50 pixels and see what it looks like. That's getting there. Oh, that's too much. So let's do 60 pixels. Hey, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so we're looking pretty good. We got a good button, we got the text, we got this text, got this image. We got a big gap here and really tight there. So I don't really like that. So we got to figure out how to get that right. So let's go back to Avatar. Let's get rid of this float left stuff. Let's just see what that does. Woohoo! That messes things up. Let's put 0 pixels. Okay, there it goes. Ah, that's why, because it's got padding already on that image. Now let's put that float back on there. Okay, there, we're almost there. We're going to oosh that over a little bit. Padding left, we're going to give 25 pixels. Scoots it over, and we're almost golden. I'm going to go ahead and put it 30 pixels. Okay, so we've got pretty much our box there, but you know what, I want to make that border radius a bit more. There we go. Okay, there's that. There's that. We can select that text and grab that image. Okay, we got to get this background image working right. Whew. Something's wrong with it. Let's go to body, background, repeat. Ooh, that might have something to do with it. Nope. Background repeat, none. Height, min height, min width. I wonder if it's because I'm applying it to the body. Let's try something else. Let's create another tag in here. And let's see, wrapper. And oops, no, let's call it div class equals wrapper. And then we will close that out right here. And then making sure not to be inside someone else's curly cues. We're going to go with, no, we're going to go take this, we're going to place it here. Okay, that's interesting. Let's give it a margin of 0 pixels. Now watch that hopefully adjust. There that goes. Well, I'm going to consult that other site I did. I guess we could set the minimum height to whoa, that's not what I want. background size. Let's try this. Alright, this is troubleshooting. Got to figure it out. This is what programming, or coding, sorry, is kind of about. Well, a big part of it, that is. So, no, I do not want to shut down. Wrapper. Okay, so that fits into the content. Maybe it's because my display. Alright, I'm going to pause this, figure it out, and get back to you. See, I got stuff to learn.